Let me record her. What is up? If you're watching video, this is for my substack, and this is for Mercury Retrograde. Today is the 21st of April, but if you're watching this video, just know that Mercury Retrograde always seems to bring us back to places. So if you find yourself down the line back to a place and find this video, just know that this video is meant to find you. And I've got tarot cards and I'm just kind of doing my damn thing, you know? So welcome, I'm Kristy and I'm an astrologer, I'm a tarot card reader. And today's Mercury retrograde is right after a total solar eclipse in the sign of Aries. So I find it very interesting how these energies kind of are aligning. And I'm just going to shuffle some cards and kind of just follow the video. So we'll see what happens. I'm still getting used to video, and this will be maybe a trust your glitter bonus or whatever, wherever this video and audio ends up is where it's meant to. And that's what Mercury retrograde is all about. It's interesting enough, I do think that there is an experimental aspect to Mercury retrograde. And because Mercury retrogrades in Taurus, we can definitely get kind of caught in perfectionist tendencies, and we're being able to kind of go through that. So it is kind of pushing through these perfectionist tendencies. Taurus is a very hardworking sign, and the dates of the retrogrades. So we had Mercury in Shadow, which is that point for which Mercury is going back to. So based on the rotation of Earth, when a planet's in retrograde, it looks like they're going backwards, but really it's just based on the view of the rotation of Earth itself in aspect to where that planet's located in the sky. So what that does on an energetic scale is it kind of has a redo period for us all. And so it's like an editing period. And with Mercury being the planet of communication, and generally the signs associated with Mercury are Gemini and Virgo, these are times where the trickster elements can definitely be out in our lives because Mercury is the trickster planet. And in a lot of ways, you know, I feel, especially with the transits that are going on now and where society's at in general, that the trickster is within us and it's within our mind and it's working with our mental capacity to heal. So I think a lot of the healing with us is mental. And it's interesting that I have the Queen of Swords out, who has just like been in a lot of my readings, the Ace of Swords, who's been in a lot of my readings. I wouldn't be surprised if I get that 10 of Swords. The Two of Pentacles about finding balance. Here's Miss Isis, the goddess of love, the magician in this particular deck. She is one of Gemini's. I would say she's Gemini. I would say I associate the magician with Gemini, but because this is a major arcana, it's the first major arcana, you can definitely associate this card with any zodiac sign or planet. Two of Swords, I do always view this as a crossroads, and for us on a planetary scale, I do think that this crossroads is between the solar and lunar eclipse. So, you know, not only is this Mercury retrograde taking place in between, you know, a total solar and a lunar eclipse, which I'll get to that later on, this is also taking place kind of in very potent degrees of a fixed sign, which Taurus is a fixed sign, and that is something that I find very important. This is the world axis degree for Taurus, 15 degrees fixed. And I think it's interesting because the Wheel of Fortune is out. And I kind of associate both the Wheel of Fortune and the World card in the major arcana as these guarded cards, especially the World card, but Wheel of Fortune, I also view it in the same way. So fixed signs are these energies that hold, right? So if we think about the fixed signs, we have Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, Leo. And fixed signs are kind of here to hold energy in a way that takes it, I don't want to say a step towards healing, but I see the Empress as the ultimate card for Taurus. And with that, you know, she grows. She's taking things through a step towards growth. And so this Mercury retrograde starting on the 21st of April takes us from 15 degrees of Taurus to the 14th of May, which is 5 degrees, reaching that where that shadow point was located on the 7th of April. And then we'll leave this shadow zone on May 31st. So April and May in the year of 2023 is a really, really, really pivotal time for a lot of people. And this also includes October of this year. So this year, where are we planting our seeds? Where are we growing our garden? And also, where were we really not good to ourselves, and especially with relationships? There's a huge relationship element here, romantic relationships. Where were relationships not serving us? The Judgment card I usually view as Scorpio. In this particular deck, it's Guinevere, and this is King Arthur being knighted. But in order to be knighted, in order to go up to the next level, you have to go through the phases. In this particular case, the Princess of Pentacles is out. The Seven of Cups is out. Chiron was very active in Aries season and even in Pisces season. And I want to say with Chiron out, I always see the Three of Swords as Chiron. So I do feel like this is a card where you're being asked to really heal some mental wounds. And just like in the last video, well, actually that video is going to be later on, but I have a running joke that anytime I hit record, a leaf blower goes off, a lawnmower, some sort of lawn equipment, or now the garbage truck, which is going to make a loud noise. But you know what? That's Mercury retrograde right there. Interference with communication. And we're just going to keep going until, you know, Nine of Cups. We are going to have eventually the transit of Jupiter into Taurus, but I will talk about that later on. But Jupiter is still in Aries, and there's been a strong sense of finding your sort of creative abundance. But if we're gonna kind of look at the symbolism of the dump truck right now, you know, the South Node is in the sign of Scorpio. So we are kind of letting go. We are shedding skin in a very interesting way. And because of that, you know, these nodes are opposing Mercury. South Node is, so North Node is in Taurus, South Node is in Mercury. South Node is in Scorpio. God damn it. I'm not going to edit this out. It's like I got like a cough. There's a dump truck. We're still going with the video. This is why it's going on Substack and not on a public forum. I'll clip this out, but it's too funny. And it's also, I'm just trying to push through and make videos. So I don't even think anybody's going to watch this, but it is funny. Like the nature of living with Mercury retrograde, when you try and do your work, it's like, it's hard because, you know, I've been trying to make videos for many years, and as soon as you go in to make a video, it's like, what it's really showing me, because my North Node's in Taurus, is that I need a house of my own with a sound studio. And that's like my pinnacle, because I've lived in New York City, I've lived in LA, I've lived on people's floors, I've lived in places, and things like this are just reminders that one day I will have that. And I won't have to live in Airbnbs, and I won't have to live in like other people's places where I can't control sound. But it has been the plight of a decade of this. So for me, I'm going through a nodal return, this is my nodal return. It's showing me I need a house, I need a farm, and need a sound studio. So I know that sounds very Empress of me to say, but I'm an Aries, can I tell you? Like at some point in my life, things will change, but that is kind of what this Mercury retrograde is showing you. Like, what do you value for yourself? What do you value? How do you want this wheel of fortune to change and shift? And if you watch this video and you're like, and you're laughing at me, please do, because this is the comedy that is Mercury retrograde, and it is life. It's just interference comes along, could be in the form of some electronic not working, sound not being controllable, things like that. And your inner Empress is going to be like, do you want to go with this for the rest of your life? And that, even it comes with relationships as well, with that 5 of Pentacles that came out and that 9 of Wands. If it's saying, why are you still continuing to do this? You need to make a change. You need to make a change. And that's really what it's all about, is like, this is a change that's actually quite controllable. And I think that this Mercury retrograde, it's going to get very close to Uranus with that 15 degrees, very close to Uranus right now. And the idea that there can be sudden change, and there can be sudden things that happen in our lives, and there can be people that show up that really help us. And this King of Wands, I do feel like is seasonal. Generally, I feel like it could be a person, it could be a Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries. It could be somebody in a particular position of power. But in this particular case, I kind of feel like Leo season is really going to show the fruits of that labor. And I think Leo season is going to show us that fruits of the labor, because in between Cancer and Leo season, we are going to have the node shift from Taurus and Scorpio to Aries and Libra. And it's going to be a big time. It's going to be a time of authority. It's when we can take action on what we learned with this Mercury retrograde. 6 of Swords, there is a leaving of the past. So this is a Mercury retrograde reading, all in all, through and through. There is something that has to be left behind. Let me do 2 more cards. And I really mean that with my cards. Sometimes I will go over, but I really mean we are only doing 2 more cards. 3 of Wands, but it's reversed. Let me see who comes out next to it. Only 1 more card. And I looked at the bottom just to see, and guess who's on the bottom? Magician, Isis, the goddess of love. But the 2 cards that came out, we have 3 of Wands reversed, which certain readers will read this as months, weeks, years. I kind of feel them as they come out, because for some fire signs, you're a fixed sign, you know, fixed, mutable, and cardinal are within all the wands. So I don't read wands the same way other people might. The High Priestess. And so the way that I view the wands in reverse is actually, this is something being revisited. And this is because of the eclipse cycles. So the timing of it really is personal. I do really feel like the summertime is when that shift comes with the nodes shifting. And then we're going to have eclipses again in October. And I can't even stress, I'm going to say this on pretty much every video. I cannot stress enough the timing of eclipses and how imperative they are to kind of bookending and starting a year, and how this year is very poignant and synchronistic in 2023 is about synchronicity. It is about trusting in the higher realms, because at some point you've got to recognize that synchronicity is really, or God or universe, and letting things go to that energy is the most important part. And creating is just a beautiful alignment of where that takes you. So creativity actually gets you in alignment with your own gifts and with your connection. Everybody has gifts, everybody has connection. It's just really a matter of finding that balance within. So with that, this is the Mercury retrograde reading for Mercury retrograde Taurus today. And I'll be putting this video on Substack. I don't know where I'm going to be putting this audio, but she'll find a way. She'll find her way somewhere. And whoever hears it, you know, you heard me choke on my own saliva. You heard a dump truck. You heard me say Mercury instead of South Node in Scorpio. But understand, this is the beauty of Mercury retrograde, and these are the lessons that we get. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Bye.